So, fun fact, it's been 22 months since the last time we saw Kashin Koji, the clone of Jiraiya in the Boruto manga, and that equates to just shy of 2 years of real world time. Welcome everyone, Sasuke Uchiha here, and welcome back to the channel where similarly to what we did with the last discussion video, we'll be talking about the potential end of part 1 Boruto and all the things that can play into the next volume or two of the Boruto manga. And of course, Kashin Koji, a major player, I would say, who has been left out of the story for basically the last 2 years, is still nowhere to be found. And I'm sure in the back of every Boruto reader's head, the question still remains, when will this man actually show up? And I want to kind of discuss with you guys, just that, because with the events of the latest Boruto chapter, Code getting his limiters removed, and him seemingly ready to kill Amado, Kawaki having his karma back, the power of a Shiki more or less, Boruto basically unlocking a quote-unquote new level in terms of his control of Momoshiki's power via his seemingly new expanded karma. It kind of feels like things are in play for the final battle of part 1. And Kashin Koji, as I said, we haven't seen this man in 2 years, but given the true nature of his character, I highly doubt Kishimoto, well, quote unquote Kishimoto, if you know what I mean, is going to, favor leaving him out of the story. So my prediction at the end of the day is that I actually see Kashin Koji resurfacing within the next volume or two, or at least during the final battle against what we are going to assume to be just Code, Ida, and Damon. So there is that. Now, of course, what would be the real importance of Kashin Koji returning? Now, compared to at least when Naruto and Sasuke had the Kyuubi and the Rinnegan, it was seemingly implied that Kashin Koji wasn't as strong as them, but given that they've lost those things respectively, it's anybody's guess that Kashin Koji should be on the same level as Naruto or Sasuke, or maybe even just a bit stronger right now. But again, on the surface level, he would be a nice ally to have in the fight against Code, for the most part. That aside, his character can form the foundations of what's going into the time skip, because given the nature of his character, we can easily have like a character arc with a character that fans from the Naruto era who care, obviously everybody cares about Jiraiya from the Naruto era, right? So it's a nice blend between a character that we kind of care about, even though it's not really Jiraiya, but at the same time, character arc of, like self-discovery. They can definitely explore that with his character more than lightly. Of course, there is the emotional conflict that I've always pushed when it comes on to Kashin Koji potentially meeting Naruto and seeing where that's going to go more than lightly. And granted, it might not end up being like this long-winded arc of Naruto trying to get over past trauma of Jiraiya's death, because he's past that at this point, but it can form the basis of like some interesting interactions if you ask me. But at the end of the day, I do suspect any interactions between Kashin Koji and Naruto is going to be short-lived more than likely, because going into the end of part 1 Naruto, given everything that's happened in the story as of chapter 70, and especially since in chapter 68, if I'm not mistaken, with Momoshiki saying his prophecy for Boruto is really close by, I'm suspecting Naruto himself is going to get sealed away by Kawaki soon. So that's more likely going to be the case, especially with Code having his limiters now removed. He's fresher than ever for the most part. So there is that. But being a strong ally and potential interactions with Naruto aside, I think from the anime standpoint, it could serve as a way to tie up loose ends, join the canons of the anime and the manga, quote unquote, where could we potentially get some callbacks to the time travel arc. Now, I know that arc isn't really isn't really a lot of person's favorite arc. I mean, it was nice for what it was, but breaking it down from like a power scaling and all that type of standpoint, it's not really your favorite arc to say, but it would be interesting to tie that back into the story for the most part. But my overall prediction is that Kashin Koji is going to appear either let's take some case scenarios. It could potentially, who knows, appear in a brief skirmish against Code. Maybe as Code's about to actually kill Amado, maybe there's some device or something that Kashin Koji actually left on Amado, or maybe he's still been scheming with Kashin Koji in the long from he got defeated until now, and maybe Kashin Koji shows up. Even though I am kind of more suspecting Ida or Damon is actually going to stop Code from killing Kashin Koji, because I would imagine Ida wants a word with, more than just a word with, Amado herself, even though she does want him dead. So that's going to be interesting. And it would be nice to have like it's a cyborg, Kashin Koji versus Code action to get a preliminary gauge of what Code is truly capable of before he goes into confrontation with Kawaki and Boruto and Naruto and Sasuke. So that'd be interesting. But in that event, I do see Kashin Koji like potentially just grabbing Amado and escaping, like narrowly escaping or something along the lines of that. So that's what I expect in that case. Of course, the second case, probably during the final battle, if it's going to be in Konoha, that is, we might see Kawaki, Boruto, Naruto, and Sasuke on the back end of Code's onslaught, and Kashin Koji shows up as like that mystery fighter, that wild card to everything that can potentially go down. And potentially with him, since most persons are suspecting this man is in Miyoboku, probably learning this ultra super rare siege mode or something, maybe he could open up some paths to other characters, pursuit of power like Sarada and Mitsuki, more than likely, maybe. So it's anybody's guess, but within the next volume or two, I do suspect this man should, I think it's overdue now for this man to actually show up. And I think, as to even backtrack to the Naruto days when the Great Toad siege and all of that, in terms of his prophecy where Naruto was concerned, it'd be interesting to see if he's still alive, or if there's a new frog and if there's like a new prophecy that ties into Naruto's son, that probably falls in line with Momoshiki's prophecy. So that would be interesting to see, to kind of expand the lore, give us a bit more meat to look forward to when it comes on to the time skip. So I don't know, that's my general predictions for the most part. And if we are going to potentially lose Shikamaru as an ally to death by the end of part 1, having Kashin Koji replace him wouldn't be a bad trade. Probably not as smart as Shikamaru, but I know it would be an interesting ally to have, to say the least. So, and of course, who knows, just maybe the reintroduction of Kashin Koji could be the gateway for some old fan favorites to return, like Tsunade and Orochimaru. So it's anybody's guess how it's going to go. But let me know your predictions and your expectations for Kashin Koji returning to the story. Like, when do you expect, and what do you think he'll bring to the story? So let me know. Sasuke Uchiha, hope you guys are having an awesome day, and I'll see you in the next Boruto discussion or review or reaction.